To those devoid of imagination, a blank place on the map is a useless waste. To others, the most valuable part. Aldo Leopold. Absolutely beautiful morning. It's October 10th. Hitting the trail, 6 miles. Gonna see if we can catch some Heritage Horn Lake strain brook trout. It's a naturally reproducing adequate pond. I have my CPO WeatherWool on today. I'm sure I'll be down to a t-shirt in a bit once I start working this trail. But this sure feels good on this cool morning. A little bit of chaga growing here, eating away at the tree. A little bit of witch's butter. Terrific little treat on the side of the trail. A bear's head tooth mushroom. It's very closely related to the lion's mane. It's also similar to the coral tooth. All three are edible. It's nice and white and clean. That's what we want. When it turns a bit yellow, it can become distasteful, a little bitter. So this is just gonna cook excellent in the cold handle pan with a brook trout that we're going to catch soon in the lake down below. So excited to see this on the way into camp.
Oh, that's a bit of a trek.
Worth it.
All right, so Dave and I just finished a 6-mile portage to get out here. And it's totally worth it. We have this whole lake to ourselves. And we got this incredible lean-to. We're all set up a camp. We made a coffee and now we're out fishing. Apparently this lake's full of brook trout, so it could be a few good days of fishing. All right, David, what do you got there?
A mix of mushrooms you might find in the north woods. Hen of the woods here, chicken of the woods, bear's head tooth mushroom. Here we have shrimp of the woods, aborted entoloma. And then there's a bit of oyster right there. The native people ate a wide range of edible plants and animals and fungus. Here in the Adirondacks, it was the Iroquois, and they would have had a greater diversity of food items that they were gathering, foraging out here, farming out here, than we even eat today. So part of the enjoyment of coming out into these wilderness areas is experiencing what they experienced, eating off the landscape. And if you have the knowledge, the skills, and the experience, you can truly create a deeper connection. We're out here gathering firewood, and I just walked up on a plant that'll go well with our trout tonight. It's oxalis, also known as wood sorrel or lemon sorrel. So we didn't pack a lemon out here, but this plant here tastes very much like lemons. Looks a lot like clover. Clover is edible too, so it's not a concern. But this is a tasty treat. The wood sorrel has 3 little hearts. They look mottled like the brook trout with the venation. The stem has a red tint to it. And it tastes like wood sorrel. Sometimes you just got to get out there. You get out there with somebody who's been out there before, and you learn your one plant at a time. So I couldn't always key into every characteristic, use all that proper vocabulary of a botanist. But each time you get out there with somebody who knows more than you can learn one thing, and it just builds up a body of knowledge. So if we gather those ingredients, we're creating a sense of place and a deeper connection to the environment. And when we cook them over a campfire, well, everything tastes better over the fire, and hunger is the best spice. So after that long carry-in and paddling and fishing all day, when you put that meal together, it's absolutely delicious. There's nothing better. There's nothing you could buy at a 5-star restaurant that could even come close to competing with a meal you foraged, hunted, fished, and cooked over the campfire with friends. So the more knowledge, skills, and experience you have, the better meal you may be able to put together. But you always want to have your gratitude high and your expectations low, because you just don't know what's going to happen on each trip. One of the best ways to start is with wild boreal teas. There's a variety of plants out here that you can add to your water. So you collect some of that stained Adirondack lake water, you put it in your pot. You can add some wintergreen, some spruce, some pine, and give it some flavor. What I do is I bring my pot of water to a boil, and then I just like to simmer those ingredients, whichever plant you choose that you've confirmed is edible. In those cases, those 3 are good starters to pick out. And then I'll simmer those ingredients in the pot. You could do one ingredient, you could even mix, but I'll simmer them with the lid on because I want to trap those essential oils. I don't want them to vaporize out. So I'll just let them slowly simmer in the pot as I'm working, cooking up dinner, and then you've got a delicious taste of the forest. My favorite way to cook a brook trout is on a grill. Often you come out to a campsite and there's already a grill in place, or you carry one in with you. But it's very simple. You get your fire going. You wait till you have coals. You really want to cook over coals. It's more controlled. If you're cooking over those flames, you don't have as much of a controlled camp situation where you can get the right temperature that you want. So I like to get a nice bed of coals. I might rake some coals forward, and then I set my grill up usually on 2 logs. I'll cut logs, one on the left, one on the right. So the grill sits right there on the 2 logs with the fish in the middle, right over the coals. You leave it on. You might just do a light wipe of oil, just so it doesn't stick to that grill. And you want to wait till the eyeball pops white, and then you know that one side is cooked, and then you can just flip it over, cook the other side. Pay attention to the spine. There's a lot of meat, thick meat along the spine, especially, of course, on a bigger trout. And then that you have that one flip. You wait, and then it should be cooked. So it usually takes something like 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on the size of the fish. You're better off not rushing it. If you can lift your grill up a little higher and cook it a little bit slower, you may have better results. I like to get a char on the fish. It might look burnt, but it's absolutely delicious. It just sears in all that tender meat, that juicy meat inside the trout. And that skin is all edible. So on a brook trout, you don't need to scale it. You can just eat it right off the bones. If you don't have a grill or you don't have a fry pan, you can simply cut a stick. In the Adirondacks, you're only supposed to collect dead and down wood. I think one thing you can do if you see a tree that fell over a trail, you're kind of clearing the trail, so maybe you cut a little clip here and there or something. And you can just spear a fish. You can get a stick with the 2-prong and just spear it and hold it right over the fire with your hand, or you can stick it in the dirt so it's held just right. You could put a rock on the other side of the stick so that way it balances and it just slow smokes and cooks on its own. That's one of my favorite ways to do it. Another technique is you take your gutted brook trout and you could take a stick and you split the stick right at the top. about the length of the brook trout. And you could put the stick so it clamps the brook trout in place with its belly open, and then you can take your cordage. It could be paracord, or it could be even spruce roots. You could dig up some spruce roots, some natural cordage, and you tie up the top of the stick so that the split piece is held tight, but it's still going to spin a bit. So what you want to do then is take 2 smaller sticks, and you're going to feed one in through the bottom belly of the brook trout, over the stick and back in through the other side of the belly, and then again on the top, from the top over and in. And that's going to hold it in place so the brook trout is open, getting all that smoky flavor off the fire and cooking at just the right temperature you want it at. So you can even leave that and let it go slow and low. If you're sitting around the campfire, you can just let the smoke flavor up that meat. And then when you're ready, because I'm out here in the wilderness, I do like to give it a little extra heat just to make sure that I'm absolutely certain that it's at the right temperature, so that you have a happy meal, nobody gets sick. Seeing a white eyeball, so it's looking pretty well cooked, and the tail is crispy like a potato chip. That's what we're looking for. The back still feels a little soft. I want it a little more taut, a little tight. So we're letting some heat just apply right to the spine there of the trout. We'll let it go a few more minutes and it's going to be ready. So we have our brook trout cooking on the campfire, and along with that we gathered some other ingredients from the landscape. We have the lion's mane we picked on the carry into camp, some balsam for tea, some wild rice that Cody brought along that he harvested with Caleb in a previous WeatherWool video. We have some wood sorrel, lemon sorrel that'll go well with the brook trout, a little lemon flavoring, and we have crayfish that we picked down at the edge of the lake. So we'll cook up a few of the bigger crayfish and enjoy all of this out here in the Adirondack wilderness. Water, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of water.
It's gonna need more. It's gonna be good.
A nice color already.
Nothing we're eating tonight was purchased from a store. Everything was gathered from nature.
All right, it's 6 a.m. This is the morning after our incredible feast with the brook trout, and wild mushrooms, and wild rice, and crayfish, and I feel fantastic. Just the quality of food that you eat plays such a factor in how you feel, and I woke up this morning just feeling great. I love eating wild foods.